Love in the ocean, but if you wanna go insane, either way, baby, we could go all night. We could do it all night. We could go all night, all night. Do we heal, do we bleed? I'ma follow your lead. We could go all night.
I've been calm, cool, collected, but you pushing on my nerves. And knowing your attention, I'm under pressure. Okay, I'm admitting that a couple things I said got acidic in the tone. In the presence, I get careless. Long as you know I come with imperfections. When you look at me, you see the soul through my flesh. You something special. Know you looking bomb, the way you dressing, gone flex and hold it still and let my mind digest. You got the leverage, you got the upper handle on the situation. You worthy of a million more of the storms that we weather. We fight retreating, then fuck, but you trying to kill the cycle. When nobody stressing that body like me, I know the way you like it. I treat you like a queen, run the castle.
We could do it all night. We could go all night. Love in the ocean. If you wanna go insane, either way, baby, we could go all night. We could do it all night. We could go all night, all night. Do we heal, do we bleed? I'ma follow your lead. We could go all night.
I've been calm, cool, collected, but you pushing on my nerves. And knowing your attention, I'm under pressure. Okay, I'm admitting that a couple things I said got acidic in the tone. In the presence, I get careless. Long as you know I come with imperfections. When you look at me, you see the soul through my flesh. You something special. Know you looking bomb, the way you dressing, gone flex and hold it still and let my mind digest. You got the leverage, you got the upper handle on the situation. You worthy of a million more of the storms that we weather. We fight retreating, then fuck, but you trying to kill the cycle. When nobody stressing that body like me, I know the way you like it. I treat you like a queen, run the castle.
We could do it all night. We could go all night.
So, hold on. Okay, so we're gonna have a kid. We got a little.
This is Silky. This is Smooth.
Yeah, Courtney.
Yeah. You know, ever since I turned pro in 1989, when I signed the dotted line, it was strange. Some things changed for the better and for the worse. So I called my mama and she said, baby,
must be the money. Must be the money.
It's got to be because I got people wanting to be my friend, people I never thought about associating with. I don't know what it is. Talk to me. Check it out. I've been relaxed with gators on my feet. I got some pepper every day about me. My hair is done, my fingernails too. The cut goes down and I don't know what to do.
Must be the money.
Turning down must be the money.
Must be the money.
You know I can't go wrong. Must be the money.
Must be the money.
Keep me looking cold. Must be the money.
Must be the money.
Got me rolling on the straw. Limousine, said first class I fly. I'm living life, and you know I can't deny. My drops are big when I'm with my lady friend. My truck is Cisco with my homies making it. Must be the money.
Must be the money.
Got me riding on tour. Must be the money.
Must be the money.
I can't get enough of all the money.
Must be the money.
Women fall in love. Must be the money.
Must be the money.
I'm kicking it at the club, flashing lights on the dance floor. The DJ says my name is I make my intro. The place is packed, nowhere to find a seat. But I'm no worry, cause I sit in VIP. Must be the money.
Must be the money.
I got so much joy. Must be the money.
Must be the money.
And it's sick with all this dough. Must be the money. Must be the money. Afford the way I live. Must be the money. Must be the money. Players ballers at my crib. 85 acres with a mansion on my land. Oh, jacuzzi that my neighbors can't stand. The way I live is oh so bad. Ain't got you ladies and prep time is all. Let me see the money. Must be the money. This got me so strong. Must be the money. Must be the money. It's turning down. Must be the money. Must be the money. You know I can't go wrong. Must be the money. Must be the money. Come on, baby, sing my song. I'll keep it hot till the daylight. I'll keep it moving all through the night. I'll keep it hot till the daylight. I'll keep it moving all through the night. The first thing people say is, "Crap, don't let money change you. Don't let money change you." I say, hey, don't let money change you. Because personally, it's gonna change my address, my phone number, my wardrobe. Hey, my snakeskin shoes gonna change into days. Hey, my library cards gonna change into credit cards. You know what I'm saying? So don't let money change you.
Hey everybody, how is everybody doing? I'm waiting for Derek to come. I hope you guys enjoy the live stream tonight. I hope you guys enjoy the live stream tonight. We're gonna have a great conversation about Deion Sanders and why he's leaving Jacksonville, Jackson State. You know, Jackson State University, and he's going to the University of Colorado. So, just waiting for Derek C. Williams to get in this chat, you know. And I played Deion Sanders. Shout out to Chef Chipino because he let me know Deion Sanders. There must be the money came in 1995. Okay, must be the money. And y'all remember Deion Sanders is a 2-time championship. He played baseball and football. Okay. So it's gonna be. But I want to thank all my new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. I have a goal by my birthday to get to my 1,000 so I can be monetized. Hold on 1 minute, okay? But I want to be monetized by my birthday. So please subscribe to my channel, share this video out. I'm at 728, so I'm trying to be at 1,000 by my birthday. That's January 28th, so that's almost 2 months I got to go. So please share it out. Please subscribe to my channel. Tell your friends, tell your mama, tell your neighbor, and I appreciate everybody. And I keep bringing content. And even if you don't see me going live, I always upload just some interesting conversation that I might see on YouTube, or if I might see on Instagram. What up, Derek?
All right.
How you doing tonight?
Doing well. Shout out and respect due to the mighty Andrea Lynch. How you, young lady?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Living my life day by day like Rambo. Yeah. Let me adjust this thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what would you like to talk about this evening, young lady? I think I have an idea.
We can start off with Deion.
Okay.
Prime time. You know, you can tell me how you feel. You can start first. You can start off first.
Okay. Well, thank you. Salute to your chat and those who may watch on replay. As you all know, Jackson State head football coach Deion Sanders took the job at the University of Colorado. I think it's in Boulder. So it's the Colorado Buffaloes, if I'm not mistaken. One of their most celebrated athletes to come out that school recently was Slash. Y'all know a former NFL quarterback, Cordell Stewart. He was a starting quarterback for the Buffaloes, and I think I forgot his first name. I want to say Michael Westbrook. He started Colorado as well. For myself, my personal opinion on the matter is that this is a free country, because I want to talk about Jeff Bezos and what he did recently, and that's his right to do. But it's also Deion Sanders' right to go wherever he so chooses. If the offer presents itself, many would take it. But on the flip side, there's something to be said about legacy and institution. For me, if Deion Sanders or any former pro football player who's Black, understanding that the HBCUs are essentially dead in the water. As an example, Jackson State University's basketball program is headed up by former Cleveland Cavaliers player Mo Williams, and you have Mississippi Valley State's basketball team. They have to do these outrageous travel plans. They have to go all over the country to play big schools, and the reason why is that it's a revenue generating thing. They don't have any money, so in order for them to acquire monies, they have to go out and play all these big schools that they get beat up on. And I would say the same thing with Jackson State or any of the schools in the SWAC. For whatever reason, the infrastructure and the institutions aren't on par with the top 5 schools. So when somebody of Deion Sanders' caliber, salute to TC. So when a player or former player of Deion Sanders' caliber comes along, it would have been refreshing if he had stayed long term, bring some of the top athletes that would have gone to your Michigans, your Alabamas, your Ohio States, your Floridas, your Florida States, Penn States and stuff like that. If they would start taking some of those same Black athletes and building up the Black schools like North Carolina A&T, Winston-Salem State, Bethune-Cookman in Florida, because I'm quite sure people in Florida may have said, well, hold up, Deion, you from Florida. How come you ain't coach at Bethune-Cookman? They ain't a SWAC. How come you ain't go to FAMU? Stuff like that. So he came to Mississippi. So I'm quite sure that conversation may have came up in Florida. But be that as it may, he's gone now. And so we'll see next football season if Jackson State can keep the momentum going. I thought, my personal opinion, I think he should have stayed and tried to build it up some more. Obviously, he brought a lot of light to Jackson State and to the SWAC and to HBCUs overall. So you have to tip your cap for that. But we also have to remember Jackson State is the only football program in the country, to my knowledge, that even gave him a chance. And we had to remember just a month ago in the NFL, Jeff Irsay, the owner of the Indianapolis Colts, gave a job to Jeff Saturday, a football player with no prior coaching experience. In the NBA, the Brooklyn Nets gave a job to Steve Nash, no coaching experience. No, in fact, he just retired a few years back. But see, it's a good old boys club for them. Blacks don't have that, you see. But the way to get that is someone would have to sacrifice and make the changes, or the sacrifices necessary, so you can build up the Black schools, so we can start doing what the white man does, so we don't have to complain about what they're doing, you see, or what they don't do. And so what happens by Deion taking off like he did, it's essentially you're drawing resources from the Black community, and we wonder why we can't get on equal footing with the white man, and we'll bitch and complain about what the white man does or don't do. So that's my take.
Okay, so I wrote some notes down because I got some people who send me some information, because if I'm going to have an argument with Derek C. Williams, I got to have all my facts in order. They tell me, okay. So
no right or wrong answer. We just speaking.
Just Deion Sanders was at Jacksonville State, University of Mississippi, Jacksonville. Okay.
No. Let me correct you. Jacksonville is in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson State University, just like that.
State University. He spent 3 years down there. Okay, his salary was based with $3,000 stylist. Okay, so when he went to Colorado, he's getting $5 million per year. Okay, and them assistants that he was taking with him are getting 6 figures, what they wasn't getting in that Jacksonville State. Okay, and so all I'm saying is, see, Deion leveraged. He leveraged his cachet, who he is, his name, to all that. So Walmart came down there and put a practice facility in there, so they can have good practice facility. Okay, they came down, build state of the arts lockers. Okay, his friend Michael Strahan worked for Good Morning America. He works for Fox on Sunday morning. Michael Strahan has what do you call it? A suit line that from J.C. Penney. Michael Strahan donated suits for the brothers to have nice suits when they go to games. Okay, so I'm just saying is Under Armour gave Deion Sanders stuff. So I'm the American Airlines. His relationship with American Airlines, he got them to have nice air when they go fly. So I'm saying he used, and half of the salary he donated to make sure the practice field get finished. So I'm heavy. It's to me, black folks are always asking for more black folks to do. Deion gave him service to his community. He gave a service to the HBCU. He gave recognition. He gave big time players can come there, and it's time to move on. What he said was today in his speech: if you ain't elevating, you getting fired. So he was like, I'd rather walk off. I'd rather do it on my own term, because most times coaches either get fired and walk off into the sunset. And let me tell you something. While Deion was going through the whole season last season, he had 2 toes cut off. He had blood clots. They thought he might have to amputate his leg. And while he was still working, he was in a wheelchair on that practice field, making sure that his team be right. So how much do he supposed to give to his team, the black community? Because the black community is a problem for me. They always asking us to give so much. They always asking us to do so much. And you know what? You know what I heard today? The reason why some of these HBCU schools ain't doing that good, maybe like Puffy, Oprah, Tyler Perry are giving money to the HBCU, but them white schools like Alabama, Texas, because what's his name, Jerry Jones is giving Texas, making sure them stadiums is out there good. So them boosters out there are making sure that shit is good. So tell the black community, step up if you want the HBCU to compete. Put your money where your mouth is. Period.
I would agree with that. And that's the reason why I said the HBCUs are dying. But on the flip side, you had Andre Young, you out in California. Andre Young, Dr. Dre, if I'm not mistaken, he gave anywhere between $9 and $12 million to USC. Imagine what $12 million could have done to Bowie State or Hampton or Howard or Savannah State, where Shannon Sharp went. You see. So we have our priorities all mixed up. Now, is it Dr. Dre's right to give money where he so chooses? Of course. But as I said, black people you don't have a leg to stand on when we talk about what we're not getting done. Because just like what you said, and I agree with you, we aren't putting our money where our mouth is to build up our race. Because the fact of the matter is, black people have everything they need. You have this metric come out every year, and I'm speaking, and I may not have my facts in order. Mm-hmm. If you adjust for inflation, black Americans would have the 9th largest economy on earth. You see, we generate a lot of money, but the big question is, what are we doing with those monies? And we are mostly consumers and not producers. We ain't building nothing. So we have no choice but to go work for somebody else, you see. And so that's where the rub is with me with Deion. The fact is that, yes, he did do everything you said. Well, unfortunately, because the HBCUs are already in a deficit, you have to actually do more. Blacks have to put it out more. All of us do. If we want to talk about even being on par with the Colorados and the Alabamas and the Ohio States, we just aren't there. And all of the black talent is extracted from the black community and going to the big time schools, and the HBCUs are dying, and we wonder why we can't compete with them. And so when you get somebody of Deion Sanders' caliber, They have to stay so they can attract the talent. Because if you remember I think like maybe 2 months ago, it was either Nick Saban or one of these other power coaches that was shaking in their boots because Deion had the power to pull some of those, who would have gone to those schools to little old Jackson State in Mississippi. So that's where the sacrifice will come in. So it ain't no really wrong. It really depends on where you stand. If you're about the money, Lord, salute to you. But those of us and I'll say for myself, those of us who are pro-Black, I would have liked Deion to stay there at least 6-7 years, scare the shit out of Nick Saban and all these other coaches at these big schools, because you're going to take talent from them and put it back in the Black community. That would be me. But it ain't really no right or wrong answer, just pretty much where you stand. I heard idiot Steve Harvey this morning say to tell his staff, I'll leave y'all ass to go to do an evening show if the money is right. Okay? And that's his right to do. That's his right to do.
I think where we are disconnected at, and I think what the Black community is unfair. Y'all don't ask the white coaches like Lane Kiffin. And do you know, for your information, excuse me, when Deion did want to go to his own alma mater, Florida State, but you know what they told him? You ain't got a college degree. Okay. That's what they told him. So I'm just saying, y'all Black people always feel like it's an opportunity, duty, community. What about Deion? Because what you don't understand is some of them coaches. Okay, now I'm gonna say this: if I was the wife, one of them coaches, them assistant coaches who was an NFL coach, and they came with Deion, baby, how long we gonna do this shit? Because we was living good, and now we living barely. We building barely making it. But Deion said, "Look, come with me. I got a plan. Stick with me. I got a plan. And then the next time we go to the next level, I'm gonna make sure that y'all get the money that y'all deserve and supposed to make." And that's what his assistant coaches are getting 6 figures now. Is that fair? Is that fair to ask the wife and the children? Because last time I checked, Deion Sander got kids too. Okay, he gave half of his salary to the school he just left. Half of his salary. Okay, so I'm just asking. Sometimes I think Black folks ask for too much and feel like we owe them something, and we got to. I never heard him say, "I'm gonna be like Eddie Robbins, stay at the college for 50 years." He ain't never said that shit. Never.
Yeah. Well, once again, that depends on where you stand. I would say in response to that, because the Black schools are essentially dead, we have to do more, because the white folks ain't gonna give you nothing. So only thing you have is your Blacks, and you have the elite Blacks who aren't given. Like, just use the example of Dr. Dre. It would have been refreshing if he'd have gave that 12 million or spread it across all the HBCUs. He didn't do that, and that's his right. But we Black people can't bitch and moan for the fact that we aren't competing with the big schools. It just don't work like that. Because like I said again, do you know the white man ain't gonna give you nothing? That ain't even for debate. We know that. So who else you got? Us. And we extract ourselves from the HBCUs to move on, as you say, to move on and transition and get more money. But at the same time, you leave the Black schools to die. So like I said, that's
not fair that he not leaving anybody to die. That's not fair. He leaving them the blueprint. He's leaving them the assistant. He believed one of the assistant coaches to take his job, to take the job that Deion's leaving. He named somebody that should be there. And that's not fair. The Black community is always asking folks to give so much. He got to give his life. He didn't say I was going. He said the Lord said he gonna die as Deion Sander. He said, yes, I'm a Black man still. He going to Colorado as a Black man. He ain't got to be having his soul on Jackson, on Mississippi State. He don't gotta have his soul on there.
No, he don't. No, man, I said that. I said he don't. Like I said again, Ms. Lynch, it depends on where you stand on the issue. Ain't you not wrong? And I don't think I am. It just depends on how you look at the situation. In my view, because Black schools are in a deficit, every dollar that the Black people pour into those schools, the better. Anytime we extract resources, that ain't good, in my view. That's all. But is it his right to move on and get his money? Of course. But again,
we're calling him a sellout. Now we calling him a sellout. Now we calling him an Uncle Tom. Now we calling him pimp in the black community. Really? I'm using my name, my cachet. I'm Deion Sander, a 2-time championship. I made millions of dollars. I took less money to come down here. Why are you talking to like that? Really? They got some nerve.
Well, when you say he took less money, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Prior to this, he was a high school coach. No college would give him a shot. Jackson State did. So it's something to be said for that. Again, it ain't necessarily a right or wrong answer. It just depends on where you stand on it. And I just want to segue about him doing that and power. I just understood that Jeff Bezos just removed the Hebrews the Negro documentary off Amazon. I don't think he should have had to. I would have kept it up there. But Jeff Bezos also sells Nazi paraphernalia on his site. Anybody who looks at this, you can go to Amazon right now, type in Nazi paraphernalia and see what you get. They're not labeling him anti-Semitic, but they'll label Kyrie and Kanye as such. But see, they can do that. You can't. That's a power dynamic, and that's one we're losing. But again, it's his right to do whatever he feels is best for his family. Salute the Harrison family ball. That's his right. So to me, like I said, ain't necessarily no right or wrong answer. It just depends on where you stand on it. For me, I just did a video Friday it entitled "The White Man Owns It All," and he does. So they can do what we can't. And if they got the money, we gonna go get the money. And if the black community is dead or dying, that's on us. Because again, we can't look for them to save us. We got to save us, but we're not doing that for whatever reason. So I don't know. It depends on where you stand, Miss Man.
You don't think Deion had created opportunities in Jacksonville State, and he has created opportunities in Colorado too. So he has created opportunities in 2 places. Not everybody can do that. But this is what I'm saying. I want to say this because we always say about the black coaches getting hired in the NFL, the black coaches getting hired in the college. But this is a black man who's elevating himself to the next level. He never said that he is competitive himself. He's elevating himself to the next level and to show other kids. I'm guaranteed. I just heard today it's other kids transferring already to Colorado because I want to be coached by Prime Time.
Well, again, wouldn't it be refreshing if they transferred their ass to Jackson State?
Prime time ain't there. Prime time ain't there.
That's my point. Bingo. That's my point. Because he would have fetched all the black talent. Like I just said a second ago, Nick Saban, Lane Kiffin, and all of them were shaking in their boots. They don't have to worry about that now. Because some of the top talent. They still is. We'll see about that. We'll see about that because Colorado ain't won nothing, whereas Alabama had.
Nick Saban already knew Deion was a little threat. Okay, so when he got mad, he already called his boosters. I need more money. Yes. So yes, they was.
But I'm saying, well, all that has been the waters have been muddied now because he's going up against another Power 5 school. I will assure you, even with Deion Sanders light, the top recruits, they ain't gonna consider Jackson State. They're not gonna consider Bethune-Cookman, and a lot of them ain't gonna consider Colorado because they ain't really been winning none. But Alabama has, Ohio State has. Okay, not Penn State, but Notre Dame and all these other big schools. They gonna go there before they go to Colorado. I will assume.
Like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. TC, we're gonna talk Lincoln. 5 minutes.
Yeah, just a quick programming note at the end of the talk. We normally that's something me and Ms. Lynch have with us. We had talked about this behind the scenes. So what we do is we get our little talk in, and then after that, I'll drop the link.
Yes, we sure will. So I'm done with what I have to say because I feel like I'm happy. I'm happy that Deion Sanders is getting elevated. I'm happy he's going to get the money. I'm happy that Colorado is giving him an opportunity. I'm happy that I see my black brother who put his sweat and tears over there and what was it again, Derek? What did I say wrong? I don't want to say it wrong. What was it?
Jackson State University.
Jackson State University. 3 years he gave his sweat, tears, his cachet, his who he was, and everything. Okay, the man almost
Salute to
died.
him for that. Yeah, salute to him for that. Well, here, I want to ask you what your thoughts on the Jerry Jones thing.
Okay.
If Jerry Jones was 14 years old in 1957, and it's been a full 65 years, and now all of a sudden people leak this photo, yet Jerry Jones won't get canceled, but Kanye, is my understanding, when he went on a radio talk show host Alex Jones InfoWars last week, he referenced Hitler or put up a Nazi swastika on his Twitter feed, and now he's labeled anti-Semitic. So yeah, I heard about Kirstie Alley too. I got my theories on her, but
yes.
But yeah, what's your thoughts on Jerry Jones not getting canceled, but they want to cancel Kyrie and Kanye for their opinion?
I will say this about Jerry Jones, because I just said something to a friend of mine about Jerry Jones. I don't think at 14, I'm not sure if Jerry Jones understood where he was at. Okay, but I will say this: you are a billionaire. You take care of your black athletes. You go to bat for them. You do all that, but you ain't never hired a black coach. And you can say about Dak Prescott all you want to. Yes, he's half black, but sometimes he move over there with the white side, okay? And I said it. Okay, you can be mad with me. You can subscribe to my channel. But, Dak keeping his money and keeping his mouth shut, okay? And so, yes, I got a problem with Jerry Jones. Because I remember Jerry Jones, shout out to Colin Kaepernick, when he was over there kneeling and all his other stuff he was saying, Jerry Jones told his players, I dare y'all to be kneeling. I dare y'all to protest. He was the first one out there saying that. So I still believe, even though I don't think Jerry Jones is maybe a little not racist, but still a little prejudiced, I believe he still feel like we on the plantation and we work for him. Yes, I said it. That's how I feel about Jerry Jones.
Well, my response to that would be you would have to prove it. You'd have to be in this man's heart to actually know. You only thing you have is a person's actions. That's his team. It's not your team. I was telling you the other day how black folks go off. They here in Philadelphia, they go off in the bars because my team this, my team that. You don't own a damn thing, black man. You own nothing. But this is my team. Nothing could be more laughable. But he can hire and fire whom he so chooses. And just like you were saying the other day, how you agree with Shannon Sharp about throw the Rooney Rule out because they're not going by this rule. So that's all that is just smoke and mirrors. All those are platitudes. The fact is, black man, you own nothing, and you ain't gonna own nothing. It's unfortunate, but this is the hand you got. So only thing we can do is bitch and moan. You'd have to be in Jerry Jones' heart to see he's a racist. Prejudice, I think we all got prejudice for something, but that's his right as the owner of that team. Now, what black people could do, which they not, unfortunately, is pool their resources and perhaps maybe they can buy a team. Then we don't have to worry about that, right?
Yes.
So you can have it both ways.
Yes, we can.
But until such time, you go dance. All of us, we gonna dance by the beat of the white man. Period. As you like to say, period.com. That whole thing with the Rooney Rule, all platitudes, means nothing in the grand scheme of things. If you just remember, not 3 weeks ago, Jeff Irsay hired Jeff Saturday.
Right off the street.
No coaching experience. Steve Nash just retired and he got a head coaching job. And all of these black players who have experience, and some was on coaching staff, no shot. But that's their team. So again, just like it's Deion Sanders' right to move along, it's also the Mark Cuban's right to hire whomever he so chooses. He got to hire nobody of color if he don't want.
Yes.
Right?
That was
so we can't have both ways.
That was the Dallas Mavericks head coach, Jason Kidd. Shout out to Jason Kidd from California. Okay, just saying.
Yeah, but he is. But I'm just throwing anything out there. Any coach can do anything. Any owner can do anything they want with their product.
Yes.
So
but I do when it comes to the NFL, black coaches, they get 1 season and then they fired. Jason Garrett got 8 seasons in Dallas and they ain't win no Super Bowl. They barely went to the playoffs. And then that was Jerry Jones. That was Jerry Jones' boy. Okay, so I'm just saying, you want to say about Jerry Jones, because I would have, if I was in the reporter room, I sure would have asked Jerry Jones. But you good, like Michael Vick and not Michael Vick, Michael Irvin, Deion Sander, they all speak highly of you. What's Emma Smith? They all speak highly of you. You have help them in business. But I would ask the question: you still think they on the plantation and you the boss?
Okay, well here you go. I would answer. I would throw this out because no one mentions him. Marvin Lewis of the Cincinnati Bengals. I think he won like maybe 3 playoff games, and he was in Cincinnati damn near 15 years. But he was there. He was a head coach. So that everybody pulls examples out the air. That's just one. That's one. I understand that, but he's there. You see. So I don't know. I don't know that whole thing. That's their product, and they can do whatever they want. Again, black man, you got nothing. Black woman, you got nothing. And until such time as we pool our resources and take what hostile takeover, whatever, until we able to be on par, we're going to always have these discussions about what the white man does or does not do, or say or does not say. Just Friday, I said as much in a video I did called, like I said, the white man owns it all. He owns banking. He owns finance. He owns the military. He owns all the sports leagues. He owns the government. He owns everything. He owns it all. He owns the power grid. You name it, he owns it. And so the best we can do is bitch and moan about what they do or don't do. So for me as a black person, I want black folks to be right there. And then if black people are right there, we don't have to worry about whether or not they give Kyrie Irving a set of stipulations so he can come back, be a good little boy, and make good on this list, or cancel Kanye West because he puts up a picture of a swastika where Jeff Bezos sells Nazi paraphernalia right now. Anybody that's watching this now can go to Amazon and type it in, and you'll see nobody's canceling him. So that's a power dynamic, and we on the short end of that stick.
Yes. I mean, I just say, I always ask the question to you: do you want to work in the system or tear the whole system down? Sometimes I believe, as black people, we need to work in the system to get what we want out of the system.
Well, clearly the system is not working for us because we complain about what the white man does or does not do. Now, how you go about tearing that system down, that is the $50 million question. But clearly the system is not working for us because, as you know, we are consumers. We ain't building nothing. And when we do, we typically sell out. You can use that. You can use
I have a problem with saying sell out. Really?
When I say sell out, we will take our goods and transition over with the white folks. And I was just going to use the example of hip hop. Hip hop was started in the South Bronx by blacks and Latinos, where Jimmy Iovine and all these other record labels that took that over. Same with jazz, same with gospel, same with rock and roll. So we'll start out having something and we sell it off. So that's what I mean by sellout. Now they may have sounded like you, but I had to do what I had to do. I'm trying to get this money. But the long-term goals is that you own nothing. So when the rubber hits the road, we can't argue about what the white man do or don't do because we don't have a power base. So I don't know what that power base looks like, but power respects power. That's one thing I think anybody or everybody can agree with. And so when the white man move, we move. We can't do it.
But this is where the older generation and the younger generation, I think the younger generations are okay with Deion Sanders leaving. The old generation's like, you need to stay, And when Deion made a song called "It Must Be the Money," I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I think it's the older generation and the new generation, because I watched my dad and I watched my ex-husband elevate in life. Mm-hmm. And the one thing they said and they still will, to this day, I could go ask them. Black folks is always trying to keep black folks and always watching their pockets. They always trying to keep black folks down for taking opportunity because they feel like you owe the community. And the last time I checked, I don't owe the community nothing. I'm choosing, because that's the difference. I'm choosing to help my community. Okay. And I will say this. I will tell if I ever get a chance to meet Deion Sanders, I will say thank you for your service. Because you put your life on the line, you put your money on the line, and you put your cachet and your name on the line for that school. They should be damn proud to have you for them 3 years and call it a day and say, brother, I wish you well.
Well, again, it's nobody. It pretty much come down to where you stand, Ms. Lynch. It's pretty much where you stand on it. That's his right. But I would, and like I said again, black people cannot make one. They can't part their lips when the black folks ain't on par with white folks on anything, or the white person or white people or white owner decides to not pick a black coach. You can't part your lips. So it depends on where you stand on the issue. So I'm not. No, it ain't. I can't say Deion is wrong for doing what he did, but you can also at the same time look at the long-term effects of all of that. You can do both. Let him get his money. Yeah, let him get his money. You know.
I will put my money where my mouth is. I bet you them boys down there in Jacksonville, will be all right. They're gonna be all right.
We will see.
Deion left them the blueprint. Deion left them everything he had. He left them them in better hands to what he got there with that bullshit down there. And when I seen that facility and how that shit was looking, I was like, what the hell?
Mississippi is one of the poorest states in the nation. The high schools, colleges, all that like that.
The practice shit was looking raggedy. I don't even want my son to come down here and play down here. It's raggedy equipment. It's raggedy facilities. Please. But he makes sure that he used his cachet, his name, his reputation to build a state of the art. Because if he want his son, ain't nothing greater than your own family. Okay, his son sacrificed to go down there too. So he took his own son to play down there in that raggedy ass facility. But now it ain't no raggedy ass facility. It's a state of the arts facility.
Yes, it is. And you say like he gave the blueprint.
Yes.
The first thing I thought of when he left, we'll see come this football season if everything that he laid down is translated over into they're still continuing to be a top power in the SWAC. We'll see. Because what we do know, he ain't there. He's not there no more. So we'll see, everything that you just said, I respect it. But we will see come August when they go back to do their OTAs, or September, whenever they go back, the football players go back to training camp late 2023. We'll see about that.
But I wish both schools well. I wish both schools well. I wish the man who's the new head coach of that with Deion left it in the hands. I wish him well too, because I just think that he gave him everything he could. And now I want to hear from my audience because they seem like they got something to say to us, Derek. Okay.
Well, what I have to do is I have to come out and drop it that way because I'm just on the one device. Okay. So, you can keep it going. I'll drop the link and then I'll come back up myself and we can we can fill some questions for 20 minutes or whatever you want to do. All right?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Derek's gonna drop the link and he's gonna come back and we're gonna ask us some questions. I feel Deion left everything on the floor. He left everything in Jackson State University. He left them in good hands. He left them in opportunities. He left them to do what he could. He left them to do all. He left them to do all. He left them to be right. He left them a state of the art facility. He left them He left them to what he thought that he should did. And nobody can ask anybody. Deion said, if you ain't elevating, you get it fired. Okay, so Deion said, I want to leave on my own terms. And so he never said I'm gonna give you 50 years over here. He never said that. I ain't heard him say that. So every opportunity, I don't know what's wrong with us, with our community. If we somebody want to elevate and make more money, and but the man donated half of his salary to get the facility done, half of his salary. Now he get to go to Colorado. He ain't got to donate shit. He getting $5 million per year. He got a family too. You know, I just feel like, man, sometimes what they say is be glad that I had you these 3 years. I'm happy that I graced your presence. You taught my son something. If my son was taught by Deion Sander, I would be happy that Deion taught my son for 3 years, gave him a blueprint, helped him out, talked to him about the NFL. I will be happy. That's just me. It's no choice but to wish them well, because it's a black kids. They are deserving a shot to win. So TC, you want to come up there? We got the string guard. Derek put it in the chat for you. I sometimes I think the black community asks for too much. I think the black community feels like we owe them something. I think the black community sometimes feel like we gotta put our we gotta wear a cross and bear it in our soul and say I'm black. Okay, I really believe that. I really believe when black people elevate, they gotta because we are black, we gotta put a cross on us and say I can't move because I'm black. I can't do this because I'm black. Is that fair? Is that fair? Hey TC.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's up? What's up, D? What's up? Just Andre, y'all are doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Into the chat. Thank you. The chat has been very engaging. You know, for this time. I just want to say I'm happy for Deion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy for him.
Mm-hmm.
A black man
Mm-hmm.
who has a black family doing a doggone thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's moving on, and that's okay.
Yeah,
Miss Jim, salute.
It's okay. I appreciated his style. I appreciated his approach to how to manage his team. He's made some leaders as well, because oftentimes people don't make leaders while they're in leadership position. He didn't do that. He made leaders. There are, and I've spoken to a doctor, a PhD. She's a doctor, and she works at Jackson State. She's there. Actually, she might be even looking now. I'm not really sure. Doc may be in the house, but she made mention that it was like half and half in terms of half the folks were happy and the other half was sad. They were sad that he was leaving and things of that nature. And I understand the sadness. I do, but we cannot pull anybody back. That's not for us to do. He's making his bag. He's making his money. He spent his time. He answered the assignment.
Yes, that's how I feel too. That's how I feel. He answered the assignment.
As far as our HBCUs go, let me just say this: our HBCUs have accelerated. Our enrollment has accelerated. A plethora of things have gone sky high. Our facilities are finally taken off. Deion was one situation, but we've had other situations where the alumni and others have chimed in and given money. That alumni money has also driven, some of the facilities, the research money. We're getting quite a lot of money now. Management, that's a whole totally different subject. We spend some time talking about that. But we have a way more, and in tuition has gone up, increased enrollment, the whole 9 yards. So I want to say that Jackson State, this was not their first go round being, out there in the public or being famous, quote unquote. Florida A&M, all of them, Morgan State, Lincoln Cheney, North Carolina A&T, Howard Hampton, Philander, all of those schools. We were always in the Macy's Day parades. Let's go back to 1974. Let's go back to 1968. Back in Brooklyn, I mean, in the Bronx, when they had the World's Fair. Okay, we've always been around. We've always, don't get it twisted. Remember, some of these HBCUs are over 200 years old, or they're close to 200 years old. So they've been around the block, but of course, we have to get our just due. We have to make our politicians, accountable for making sure we get what we're supposed to get, and the alumni give back, and on and on and on and on and on. I'm just here. I'm proud of Deion. I want to see him go on to Colorado. I hope that they appreciate who he is and what he is going to bring to even their table. Because Colorado is, I looked and I watched, and I've been to Colorado, and I've seen Colorado State before. They don't have what we have when we get together. When I saw those brothers, and when they came out of the dugout, not the dugout. What's when they were coming out of the football, when they were coming out on the field, the tunnel, right? The tunnel. They don't do it like we do it.
Yeah.
There's a certain thing. That's what Deion said. This is how we do it. You see what I'm saying? It's a production. You see what I mean? And we learn that competitiveness, but we also learn the comradeship. So
I have a question for you, because I'm a little naive, so I know you know HBU. It was said on one of the commentaries on a sports show is if they want the HBU schools to dominate, blah blah blah, they're not the richest, powerful black people in the United States are not giving the money like the white kind of counterparts to the white schools. How would you feel about that?
Who said that, and how do they know? Receipts.
Well, if I can just chime in, what we do know for certain, which is his right. Again, just taking Dr. Dre's example, I'm still baffled, which is his right, but I'm still baffled as to why Dre would give anywhere between $9 and $12 million to USC when he could have sprinkled that money around the HBCU. So that's one. That's one right there.
No. She was saying, why don't black people give to to the HBCUs?
That's what I mean. I'm saying, why didn't Dre do it?
And my question is, just because somebody gave to a tradition, a TWI, that doesn't mean that there aren't black people that are giving to HBCUs. There's the brother that gave to Morehouse, that made sure that all of the men that graduated from Morehouse, that Morehouse College, all of their debt was eradicated, as well as their grad school, whatever else. There was a whole. See, they only told you about one thing. Okay, because they're not going to see. We already know they're not going to tell when we do things. As a matter of fact, we don't want everybody to know what we give, because when we tell everything that we give, people are going to want to come to us about everything else. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have to be very mindful.
Okay.
Tennessee State. Oprah Winfrey gives a plethora of money. I don't even want to begin. You got MC Light. She gives to a plethora of HBCUs. Queen Latifah. There's a plethora of people that give to HBCUs. And not only that, you have business people, the business billionaire, on and on and on. Not just that entertainment industry, but professional black people who have been given, for the middle class black people that have been given, that continue to give.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know what? Well, I was just gonna say, no, without question, quite naturally, everybody don't know what everybody does. So we can only go by what we see. So I yield that point to you.
Yes.
And that's the reason why had used that one, because that's one of the most glaring ones right there. But I'm quite sure black folks get a black causes. But I can just speak to just the SWAC. And now I'm not really up on the CIAA or the MEAC and what those alumni and endowments are done there. But the SWAC for sure is dying. One of the reasons why, like I said earlier about Jackson State basketball and Mississippi Valley State having to do all these long road trips, it's a revenue generating thing because they aren't drawing revenue from anywhere else, and so they have to go and play these big schools and get mollywop just to stay afloat.
Well,
so it's something to be said about that as well.
Well, let me just say this, because A&T, we've already transitioned to this colonial league, right? And I mean, we're totally disgusted. We've actually just lost over $2.7 million going to the colonial league. So the little junkie stunt college that they were playing when we were down there, just Andrea, that little junkie stunt college. I'm not even gonna mention it, okay? But it's a little junkie stunt. Don't nobody care. Somebody, you know what I mean? When we play Florida A&M versus North Carolina A&T, when we play Howard versus North Carolina A&T, when we play Hampton, when we play Norfolk, it's a certain classics, it's certain battles. North Carolina A&T versus North Carolina Central generated for the city of Durham this year over $10 million. So look, let me tell you something. Do not, and let me tell you something. Do not let anybody, just Andrea, those hotels were $350 a night plus.
Yes. I was like, this is ridiculous. I was like, my cousin said, honey, it's like this every year. It's sold out.
And it's sold out.
Every year.
And it's sold out. So here's the junkie stunt. Don't let them people and those commentators. This is why you, just Andrea, you, Derek, it is important for y'all to stay on this. You all are gonna, we're gonna have to, we dependent on you all to bring forth the information, the real live information, and some of the real questions, because sometimes we don't have all the answers. So I'm not saying that, but bring forth these questions, have the conversation, because you asked that question. Now let's really get into it. And you know, y'all, we've been around in the beefing sector, so I don't care what they say. Just Andrea, Derek, y'all, we are seasoned. All of us, we're all seasoned. So when we ask for things, we're coming at it like, where are the receipts? Because there's no HBCU football classic that didn't make over $10 million in one entire day. Not to mention the weekend, you know, because you know everything starts on the Thursday. You know. Not to mention, it is not including the transportation. So those people that took transportation, they took the airport, the rental cars, the this and that. That's not including any of that stuff. That's just the city. That's just the money that was generated through ticket sales.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So they never, let me say this, they will never tell us what we are really valued at.
Yes.
They can kiss my freckled black behind because they want to commingle with us. They want to take and co-opt our schools. We know, Derek, because you know Cheney University, Westchester's been trying. I'm saying, like, come on. Why? You know why? Because Cheney University is number one, is the first. Okay. And of course, everybody has their theory. Okay, one is top, but the other piece is that the land that it's on, underneath is the Underground Railroad. There's stuff, there's mounds, there's pyramids that they call that is connected to some stuff.
Harriet Tubman's one of Harriet Tubman's safe houses is over by the Platte. Over by the Belmont Plateau. They got a big placard right there, and they told you that. But what you just said a second ago is what I was trying to convey to Ms. Lynch. When you use the word co-opt, when you use the word commingle,
Mhm.
this is why, Miss Lynch, I was saying that it was important in that vein for Deion and people of his ilk to stay the course at these black schools, because what happens is we lose long term. And she used, that's the proper word, co-opt. The white man's ice is cold. And so we have to get out of that. And so that's the reason why I've said we can't part our lips when we lose on the tail end of the power dynamic. That's all I was saying. So it's not wrong that Deion took off, but again, when the minute we start co-opting and co-mingling, we lose power. Put it like that.
Okay, but don't you think that Deion created jobs at two different
Yes, that's
places?
right.
At two
Yeah.
different places, so he's helping. He's helping the community. This is where I want to ask TC. This is where I have a problem with the black community. They always feel like we should put a letter scarred with blood on our name for us, okay? Because we black. But why is it, especially when it comes to black men, they always feel like black men owe you something, obligation, duty? It's family, church, the black community. Where is it that he owes his family in the Lord?
Yes. So here's what I say. Andrea, I totally agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that so much pressure is put on our black men.
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes where, here it is, look, Derek, it's probably one out of how many people in the beefing sector, and you are one, you and Anthony, and maybe a couple of, it's probably about 4 or 5 of y'all. And everything is, we have to depend on you for everything, because the others don't come through. Here it, and it's a shame, but we have this black man. He needs to provide for his family, his legacies, his grandchildren. He has businesses. He has to make sure that everybody's right and tight, because we know what's about to go down. And so he's preparing, and I appreciate that. I will say this, that I am very confident that he made jobs, he created jobs. Andrea, you said it. Number two, to Derek's standpoint, he also created some leaders that are and have been left, that are being left behind. Some awesome people that are going to be able to maybe not be him. They're not the Deion, of course, because Deion is and he's not just
a whole bunch of everything. He a whole bunch of
right, but he's left some people. So I'm very confident that those people are there, and I'm very confident that when he goes wherever he goes, that he's not gonna forget. We have to let folks go. This is not the Jesus syndrome, we gotta let them go. And I will say this,
not say so much Uncle Tom a sellout, because I have heard sellout. I have heard sellout. I have heard Uncle Tom. I have heard pimping the black HBCU. Yeah, I have heard that too. Somebody had a tagline said Deion Sander is pimping the HBCU. I was like, what the hell is going on? It's like I haven't heard that.
Miss Lynch, that's more or less just people being ignorant. I wouldn't call him a name. That's not your right. Like I said, that's his right to do what he so chooses. Just like I used the example of Jeff Bezos as the owner of Amazon. He can put up what he so chooses. So you can't call nobody. You can't. That's just people who are butthurt and just being ignorant. So you consider the source. That's all.
Yeah, he did say I'm a black man in Colorado. He did say that too. I'm black. I'm black everywhere I go. I mean, I don't know what y'all think this is. Right. I'm just black when I want to. I'm black everywhere I go.
Of course, right.
You shouldn't put that much pressure on no one person.
That's right.
Again, for me, the race can only the race should endure one person. So my personal attitude is that if the black community, the community itself, is not pushing for things that we are passionate about and things of interest, we can't part our lips with what someone from outside the race does. We just we not in good conscience. We can bitch about it, but not in good conscience, because we to Miss Winfrey's point. Oprah, to me, I don't know why Oprah went to Africa when she could have done something in Mississippi, but that's all right. Black folks are giving, but we still have to do more as a race because of the setbacks we've had, and we're in a deficit in comparison to white folks. So I don't know what black folks do, but only thing I can see from my little 55 years on earth, the race as a whole has to pull. One person one monkey don't stop no show. But we can't go to the table with them. As we currently sit today in 2022, we can't sit at the table with them. So if Jeffrey Lurie decides to cut Jalen Hurts, well, Philadelphia gonna be mad? He can do that. That's his shit. Period. And that's the great thing about America. So you can't say nothing either which way. So that's the reason why I keep going back to that. It's no really right or wrong answer in this scenario. It's just that, again, black folks from a power-based standpoint can't part their lips because we extract resources willingly, and that's our right to do. So I don't know.
It was something. I did watch Deion's documentary because I do like prime time. So I watched his documentary about him. He got 2 toes cut off. He had blood clot. Right. In that whole season, he thought his leg was gonna be amputated. That man still went to work. He was in the cart. He was in the wheelchair. He still got on that field with them players. So most of the counterparts, the white college coach, would took the whole season off. You know, it was like, look, I'm sick. My legs, my toes are amputated. I'm going home to sit. But Deion went to work every day. He was out there every day. So the man don't gave you everything. And I just say sometimes us black folks are asking too much of our black men, because when you start asking all this and what and that,
everything, gosh,
it want everything. And when you start, and then you want the black men. We don't want them to say anything. You want them to take it on the chin, be a man up, and shut up, and don't tell us how you feel.
It's a damn if you do, damn if you want scenario, Ms. Lynn. Again, ain't no right or wrong answers per se. You know.
But I will say, just so you know, that we make money for these cities. Yes. We make monies for the hotels. Trust me when I tell you, every time there's an HBCU football classic, it is always sold out. Always.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, from Tennessee, Texas,
Bayou Classic from last week.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and we're talking about stuff that's not even well televised. In terms of, when I say televised, like the marketing, the advertisement, commercials. It wasn't any of that. Word of mouth, because we deal differently.
Yes.
You see.
Yes.
And things of that nature. Now here's the gag order. Every single time these hotels, the transportation make money off of our events, they should be giving at least 20%, 18 to 20% of their what they make. Portions of the proceeds go towards scholarship for those colleges and universities.
I would agree with that. That's the bare minimum they can do.
That's just how you do it.
Minimum. But see, Ms. Winfrey, to your point, that those are corporations typically run by white folks. So we going on the good graces that they could do that.
But they have, and we have examples of it. They will do it. You just gotta ask. I mean, interestingly enough, you have to ask number one, but you have to have the right financial tool. So most of the colleges, not just the HBCUs, but all colleges have a nonprofit arm that goes along with it, and then that nonprofit arm is part of being able to accept money, donations, all of that kind of good stuff on behalf of that corporation, and then the school gets to use it for whatever the donation was meant for.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Point made. Yeah. It's again, for myself, it's a damn if you do, damn if you don't type deal. Salute to the man. And blessment, and we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yes.
The upcoming football season, if I want to take what Miss Winfrey said to heart, that he actually, pun intended, prime some leaders so they can be installed, being that he left.
Yeah.
Because clearly that's a gaping hole right there. And it's kind of funny, if you remember a couple of weeks ago, it was a big controversy. Alabama A&M coach Eddie Robinson Jr. called Deion Sanders ain't swag. Well, he ain't no more. He's not no more. He was, but he ain't no more. So we'll see how all that shake out.
Exactly. That was an interesting little ordeal.
It's kind of prophetic. It's kind of prophetic in a way, because when he said you ain't swag, well, he ain't now. So that lines up.
To me, it was like two black men going head to head. Which one who could overpower each other? And to me, I just felt like, I'm just being honest. Sometimes folks don't like because Deion could command a room. Let's be honest and tell the truth.
Deion has it.
Yes.
And listen, I love Eddie. I love him. Eddie Jr.
Yes.
He's different. He's differently wired than Deion. Deion has that personality. He has that swag. He has that professionalism. He has that very intense love for his game. You see, because I've seen him when he was serious, and when he's serious, when he's teaching and he's serious about the game, it's amazing to watch him, because it's like he's entranced.
And that's what I say. And that's what, for me, if I had a son and Deion taught my son for 3 years, I would be happy and tell him thank you for your service. That's how I would tell Deion, because sometimes I feel like we as the black community sometimes ask each other for too much, and especially our black men. Sometimes we ask them for too much and feel like they have a burden that they have to stay.
And like they have to choose.
Like, they have to choose. They have to choose. Are they black or they like, that don't make no sense to me. But black women don't have to do that. But the black man have to do that. And they don't say nothing about Nick Saban, Jim Harbaugh over there in Michigan. If Nick Saban wants to go to any other powerhouse, everybody will be crying because he just so to leave Alabama.
But Miss Lynch, that's where I keep using this power dynamic thing. Everybody knows it's an old boys club. They can do what we can. You see, they can kick that. You can't. I can't. Deion can't, because if Deion does not win in Colorado, he's going to be shown the door post haste. They can kick it. So
boom.
That's the rub right there.
And that's not fair. That's not fair.
That's the way. Oh
Miss
no!
Lynch, imagine my shot. Imagine my shot. He can't. We can't kick it. They can. That's just a fact.
Right.
And that's because the black coaches aren't given the leeway. They just not. And why? Because that's their stuff.
Right.
So because it's their stuff, you're gonna hold them. You're gonna try to install your morals and values on them. That's their stuff. They can do whatever they so choose.
That's right. They created it. They
made it. It's theirs. Miss Lynch, what I look like coming in there and tell you how to run your house?
Oh, you're not gonna do that.
No, you ain't gonna do that.
Okay, well, well, if that's the case, if Miss Lynch, I'm not jumping on you. I'm just simply giving you an example.
That was a good one.
I can't if you're gonna tell me to kick rocks, because I'm telling you how to run it out there in San Francisco. I mean, in Sacramento, and I'm in Philadelphia. You tell me to kick rocks, you are within your right to do, because that's your stuff. So how can black people, we'll transfer that over to the races. How can black people get mad at Jerry Jones for what he chooses to do or don't do with his team?
I want to ask TC about that. What you think about that, TC?
Let's ask Miss Winfrey. Yeah, let's ask her.
How you feel about Jerry Jones?
I'm not familiar.
Okay, Jerry Jones was at a rally for segregation, and they was trying to integrate the schools when he was 14 years old. And he is the billionaire owner of the Dallas Cowboys. And he about 68, but he about 72 now.
So what's the problem?
The picture just surfaced. You know how they say surface. I don't believe just surface. But Jerry Jones. But hold on a minute. Jerry Jones ain't never had a black coach. Okay, but he is fond of his black players, and he do take care of them, and he do help them out when they're in a bind. But I will say is, I'm not saying he prejudiced, but I still feel like he we on a plantation and we work for him. I'm just saying.
So the picture that surfaced was.
He was 14 years. He was at a rally
This was 1957.
Yes.
And he was at a rally
for
14 years old.
At 14 years old.
And so they want to get rid of him for that, or?
But they're not gonna. They're not gonna.
LeBron James brought up why anybody asked him about that picture, but they asked him about Kyrie and they asked him about Kanye. Why they ain't asked about Jerry Jones?
Right.
Power. Money. That's why. You can't do it. Kyrie simply put up a share of a stream that's on Jeff Bezos' platform, and they called him everything but a child of God. You have a picture from 1957 of a 14-year-old. 14-year-olds ain't there yet. He just was out there in the crowd. He don't understand, or maybe he was a person of his time. Maybe he thought blacks shouldn't be sitting with whites. Maybe he did, but you're going to have to go into this guy's heart and show that. But they're not going to cancel him the way they did Kyrie, because that's a power dynamic. One week coming up on the short end of the stick up.
Can I ask this question, TC? Because I'm you're a Black Story College. Can Jerry Jones feel like equal but separate? Can I put it that way? Can it still feel like equal but separate?
I believe it. Yes.
Like he could feel like that we could be equal, but y'all was working on the plantation for me because I'm the boss.
Let me just say, two nations. In theory, separate but equal.
I don't feel.
But in reality, actual execution, it's not gonna work.
Okay.
Yeah, in theory, I believe that if everybody held their own weight. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
I don't have any children. Why am I paying taxes to the school district? I don't know.
Okay.
But I do know that because so many others don't, that those of us who are, working and we're going to have to supplement for those that don't.
Okay.
So back to your question, separate but equal. Unfortunately, you just said it earlier. We have so many people that just don't want to take their rightful place and do what they should be doing, working. Yeah, people out here who are taking advantage of all kinds of services, Social Security, knowing they're going well, they could work somewhere, do something, all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, we don't have that. We're going to have generations wiped out before we can actually get to even playing field. And it's not right now, and we won't be able to do it. It's just, we've been dealt a hand that is, unfortunately, we've been dealt a sour ass hand. Sorry.
So when I always ask Derek this question: do you work in the system or you tear the system down?
Well, everybody is wired differently. So
Okay.
there's some people that can take working on the inside
Okay.
and being able to work within those those situations.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that can't work in and around white folks because they could not handle working and being in a professional setting and working around certain people. Okay. But then there's some people like who can work on the outside.
Well, if I could just,
Miss Timo, how you doing? Thank you for coming to my live.
I put this book up. This is by a white professor named Andrew Hacker. It's called Two Nations, Separate and Unequal. When BET had Our Voices, Andrew Hacker was interviewed by Bev Smith. And Andrew Hacker said, It is a fact. It is a fact. We built this country. Talking about the white folks. We built this country and we will blow it up. That was his words. I'll never forget that as long as I live.
Yes,
he said it on BET. We will blow it up before we share power. And because you as black people don't have power, you can't say nothing about nothing. You can bitch about it, but you got nothing. You should read this book. I know a lot of black people don't like to read. You see, it's all dusty. This is from like 91.
Exactly.
This book is 30 years old.
Exactly. And he was
on point. Said we will blow it up. He said we will blow it up. He said we will never. The whole aspect of manifest destiny is that the white man come and run it. We taking this. Period.
Right.
And so
unapologetically.
Yeah, they tell you that.
However, Derek, what goes around will come around. But it can only be given. Powerful people will not give powerless people power to take away from them.
Bingo.
So we have to be our own empowerment.
Okay.
When I go places, I'm looking at them like, okay, I'm not shucking and jiving with them. I'm not, none of that. Now I may shuck and jive with my own folks, but when I'm around, no.
Hey, Sir Hill Speaks, thank you for coming in.
We have got to, and we've got to. It's a posture, and we have to position ourselves in a particular way. And it's very strategic. It is coded. We have to have coded language. We talked about that, through Neely Fuller, Dr. Francis Cress-Welsing. Our need to have a powerful coded vernacular so that we understand. Now we do understand, but we're giving out all of our goody bonnets to this Urban Dictionary BS. But guess what happens? We are so dynamic that those words we don't even use anymore. We have new words now.
So I do think that Deion had an opportunity, but I would say this. They are I want to make sure I say that. What they said, much is given, much is received. Is that what they said?
Much is given, much is required.
Okay, much is given, much is required. So I feel like Deion has given, required. It gave everything, his name, his cachet, took less money, donated half of his salary. What do you say to a man? What do you say to a man who can do all that? And what I'm not even upset about the white counterpart talking about it. I'm upset as his own people. Well,
that's Miss Lynch. Real quick, with that, like I said, that's the rub. Man. Like Nino Brown said, it's the greatest country in the world. You can do whatever and be whatever you want to be. You can be the best whatever you choose to be. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, in the same breath, there's something to be said about legacy, institution, and we ain't got either. You see.
What did John F. Kennedy say? What's his famous word?
Don't ask what your country can do for you. What can you do for your country? Okay, well, we can transfer that with black folks. What are black people doing for the race to push them up so we be on par with white folks? Since we always complain about what white folks say,
or better.
What Miss T.O. said, she said everything we do in our community copy. We do flyers, we do shit. Wish we could come
Come
together.
together.
Like Jeff needs to set up aside a computer. That's like the Cosby sale will stop. Yes, yes, yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
And you know what? I'm glad she mentioned that because
But hold on a minute, TT, don't say that. But when they do have, I want to say this: when they do have black media like TV1, Roland Martin, the word on the street is he Uncle Tom. I'm just saying that's what they say about him. But is that fair?
but who's saying that? Again,
Our own people saying Roland Martin is Uncle Tom.
who? Because see, let me say this. Now I've heard them people in certain sectors of these things here, and woke, unconscious, conscious, whatever they are. Okay, they seem like they're in a coma to me. All right, they talk. Everybody does a lot of talking, but the thing is that it is very hard for a black man and a black woman, and you see, it was detrimental when Cosby was trying to buy NBC. Then all of a sudden, everything comes up. All kinds of stuff. Now people come up, all kinds of things happen. Did he do it? That's a whole nother topic of conversation. But we have tried to buy teams. We have tried to do all of these kinds of things.
Yes.
We have these nincompoop people that talk about an Uncle Tom. Let me tell you something. Had it not been for those Uncle Toms, we wouldn't have made it through slavery. Let's get it to now. The Sambos are something totally different. Uncle Tom's one thing. Sambos something else. Get your history together.
Diversity is needed to teach different types of balanced people. We're all acting the same, and that is the issue. It's ethnic. What's that last word?
It's either antiquated NAACP or extremists, and she dead on them, and TMO is dead on the money. I would. Well, here, the old way, antiquated. I would just add
Definitely.
on to about.
Comment. What the antiquate mean? I'm sorry. What the antiquate?
It's old, outdated.
Outdated.
Okay.
Disgracefully outdated. And the thing is, it's disgracefully outdated and don't even know that you're outdated.
Yeah.
Because, and it's not just the NAACP, it's all types of organizations that are out here.
Because somebody asked me what's our new leader, and I'm looking
that's the wrong question. First of all, you need to tell them that they're outdated, because ain't nobody walking around saying, "Who's my leader?" I'm the motherfucking leader.
Yep. But that's what we've been
I'm
fed
responsible. I'm in charge. You're in charge. Our generation is going to take it. I'm not asking. I'm unapologetic about it. You don't like it? Kick rocks with an open-toe sandal. That's all I got to say. You understand?
We've been fed that since the 60s.
Right.
We've been fed that since the 60s because King, basically King, long story short. Yeah. And so that's where that comes from. But to TMO's point, diversity is needed. We black people have to have diversity of thought. So you used the example of TV1. Roland Martin was just the single face of TV1 with regards to news. You need a little bit of everything, because you have CNN, MSNBC, you have diversity of thought, and that's what.
I call Stephen A. Smith Uncle Tom too. I'm just asking some questions.
No, well, it's wrong to call him that. You can have a problem with his delivery or the way he goes about his business, but that's his job to report what is. But it would be refreshing if you had the same energy for when the white people mess up, and that's why millions of black men have come down on Stephen A. and have started to come down on Barkley and coming down on Shaq for that. So you have to have diversity of thought. For years, like I told you a few weeks ago, for the longest, there was no YouTube, Facebook, none of that. So black people could not rebut what Stephen A. and Charles then would say if you had an issue. Well, now we have platforms where you can. And so I think you just have to be balanced with it. It's wrong to call anybody a name just because you don't agree with them. Just say, look, I don't agree with you, and this is why. I call him Screaming A because it's funny, but I've never walked a day with him. And I tell you that too. I've never walked a day with him to say anything bad about him, but some of the stuff I may disagree with. And that's diversity of thought. We can have dialogue. But when it starts becoming personal ad hominem attacks, that's the problem.
Right.
And this is where I kind of lose hope with our people. I'm sure white folks do it too, but I can only go by the folks that look like me. We are quick to call folks names because we have a difference of opinion. When you have these, saw StreamYard last night, they had a difference of opinion and name calling. So we can't never really talk. We want to have conversation, but nobody can be objective minded. Everybody takes stuff to heart. You have to have diversity of thought, even on TV One and stuff like that. And I think that's one of the reasons why the ratings went down and they fell off. To be honest with you, same thing with BET. The minute Bob Johnson sold to Viacom, that was an issue. It got watered down. Had a beautiful thing, but he sold. You can say Bob Johnson was Deion Sanders in a way. Is it his right to sell BET for Viacom? Of course it is. But that was the only black media really you had. It ain't like that no more.
Well, June G said, TC preach. I have a Uncle Tom played out here theme. Get where I am today, and I'm made to help my black kids.
Right.
We don't have to be.
That was a sacrifice. Salute to June G.
Mm-hmm.
You know. It's America's the greatest country in the world.
That's what come back to me. This was something somebody brought to my attention. He said this to me. He said, Andrea, you sacrifice. You a foster mom. You got every race in your house. You sacrifice every day. So when you sacrifice every day, I say what John F. Kennedy said. What he say there? What's his favorite word? John F. Kennedy say?
Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
Right.
And that's how I think black folks should be saying that, that's what they should be saying now. Instead of always asking what I'm doing for you.
And you're doing it, but once you get tired of doing it, then they're gonna be others that are gonna take over your spot.
Yes.
Okay. And that's the beauty of it all.
Yes.
We have to be about that life. Yeah. I'm telling you, if Deion, of course, the gentleman Johnson, all of those folks, if they hadn't moved out of the way, y'all wouldn't be here.
Yes, yeah, and that's what Deion said. If I'm not elevating, I'm getting fired. I'm getting fired. So I have to elevate myself to go to the next level. And I think sometimes black folks want each other to stay at the same level and not go to the next level. And I think that's the harm.
It's comfortable. It's comfortable. And guess what? Life can't always be comfortable. I know we want to be comfortable.
But shout out to Chef, because Chef always say, being uncomfortable is being uncomfortable. In Jacksonville State.
That's right, Jackson State. I love it. That looks good. That looks good on you, bro.
Greenville, Mississippi. But I should tell y'all, I had a partial scholarship to go to Jackson State University, but I decided to forego that, and when I went to the Navy. I do have to say that's the best decision I made. I was going to actually be in the band at Jackson State, and I was probably going to play as Q. But had I done that, in my view, had I played as Q, I was probably going to flunk out of school, mess with them girls, and get a girl pregnant. So I took the road less traveled. So there you go. But yeah, Jackson State all day.
All right.
I love it. I love it. Yes. Right.
Well,
that
thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
We have some awesome people that are even I find that people who are not necessarily graduates of HBCUs are probably just as passionate or more.
June G said she's from Mississippi. She was raised in Memphis.
Okay, well, I'm from Greenville. Salute June G. And my sister, my brother, they live in Memphis right now.
No doubt. Listen, there's an HBCU classic. I think it's the Southern Classic or something in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Amazing. It's
the Celebration Bowl.
Or is it Southern Heritage?
It may be Southern Heritage. I know the Bayou Classic just happened with Southern and Grambling.
Right.
Jackson State won their game Saturday, so they're gonna play somebody from the MEAC. So they probably gonna play either North Carolina Central, North Carolina A&T, whoever came out of that conference. But the celebration bowl is New Year's Day, if I'm not mistaken. So, but I think it is one in Memphis. I cannot think of the name.
Yes, it is. It's big. It is. As a matter of fact, Aretha Franklin attended Lemoyne, and see, this is what look. It's interesting. So
yeah. So I mean, again, for me, it's really no right or wrong answer per se. Is really where if I hear a story, or better still, Miss Winfrey, Miss Lynch, and myself, we to hear the same story, we're going to pull something different from it. Yes. Everybody's going to have a different interpretation. But again, like I said, when people get when our people get on these stream yards, a lot of times the logic and the objectivity goes out the window, and everybody wants to have these personal attacks because we have a different interpretation. Can't do that.
No,
can't do that. So so that's pretty much what I'm on. So it's really no right or wrong answer. We'll see how all this shake out in about a year, and then we can revisit it.
South and
Southern is in Memphis.
Yes,
and it's a big deal. Yeah, Southern Heritage Bowl, right? The Southern Heritage Classic. Anytime you see Classic, it's usually the HBCUs. If it's a bowl,
I will say this. I did go back to home to Greensboro, North Carolina. My hometown is Green Level, but going back there to the HBUC College, North Carolina A&T, it's a different experience. And I told my kids that I said I would be wild if I went to college down there. Okay, so it's a different experience. It's a different experience, and I do want my kids to one day go to a college, a Black experience, because it is different. It's different. And I told TC, I ain't never been one. It's my first time life being one. It's a different experience.
It is.
I tell my kids, I even told my girlfriend's daughter, I went down there. It's a different experience. I said, if you don't go to a Black college, just go to one of their homecoming, because it's a different experience.
Well, I just took my daughter. Me and Damaris, we went to Delaware State's homecoming in Dover, and it is the pageantry of the bands, black excellence, everybody coming out with their best. Wasn't no fight, none of that. It was just love, and just like something Spike Lee said when he did the move. I think he did higher learning.
He did
do the right thing. When he did do the right thing.
He did higher learning and school days.
Do the right thing. Well, no. Yeah, he did higher learning and do the right thing. Well, no, John Singleton did higher learning. Yes. But do the right thing. Spike Lee said the one thing about Black colleges is that they nurture you.
Yes.
Where Black people don't get that at, say, University of Michigan. You see. And that's just something to be said about folks that look like you.
Yes.
Right.
You see.
And that's what I said about the NFL players. If they had a Black coach who looked like them, maybe some of those troubled players maybe not be getting in that kind of trouble.
But Miss Lynch, that's on the good graces of the owner of the team wanting to hire a Black. So we back on the power thing. I can hire and fire what I so choose if it's mine. Again, I can't come to Sacramento and tell you I think Joaquin should be dressed in Black. You're gonna say, huh? Get out of here. Same deal. That's on the good graces of somebody. See that you're looking for the good graces of a good, nice white man to hire a Black person. When we just talked a second ago about the Rooney Rule, all platitude.
I think some good white men do hire some Black coaches. I'm just saying.
Well, apparently not enough, being that they have to put in this so-called Rooney Rule. It should never have to be if it was really about equal playing field, right?
And this is where the Black players who got that call, DeMarcus, what's his name? DeMarcus, what's the NFL player? No, DeMarcus, what's his name?
DeMarcus Smith.
DeMarcus Smith. The NFL. He's the NFL guy. Huh?
The union guy?
Yes.
DeMarcus Smith.
that's where the players should go and use their power, because they got power too. Use their power and boycott if you don't start hiring the people who look like us. They don't want to risk. They don't want to have a lockout. They don't want to risk their money. Okay, because that's what it all boils down to. Right. But if they go and use their power, because the NFL don't work if the black players ain't working.
But that's called sacrifice, Ms. Lynch. You got to bleed. How many are going to bleed by losing money for standing up for what may be right?
Well, we bled already.
We did, but she said that they should boycott. And if they boycott, they're going to lose their money. And that's sacrifice. So, Ms. Lynch, I'll pose the question to you. How many black players do you think at right today would boycott for what you just advocated for?
Probably
not many.
They not.
There you go. So we back to square one again.
They got kids, they got houses, they got mortgages. That's why they'll be telling me.
But
we back to square one.
And that's where the social engineering comes in, because it was set up that way.
Yes, ma'am.
The social construct was set up for some of those black men to have so many different families, children. Okay, that they have to. We have to stay enslaved or working in making our money.
What else?
We have to, or else.
Yeah.
So it's the social engineering, and this is where we have to question our whole the family dynamics. We have to question, the male female relationships. We have to now question these young men or these men that are going to jail, these women that are going to jail.
Remember one of the football players, one of the football coaches, I forgot what his name was, but he asked one of his football players, why you got so many kids and so many baby mamas?
One for the Philadelphia Eagles, Cromartie. It's on YouTube now. He could name all 10 of his children. He actually got lost. It's a famous video on YouTube now where one of the former Philadelphia Eagles, he got like 11 children. Couldn't name them all.
Nope.
So we got problems, and that's an understatement. But only thing I do know, for me, one of my biggest rubs is that we worry about we get angry over what the white man says or does not say, or what he does or does not do. That's all. But again, we're free to do whatever. You're free to live your life.
We are. Of course, but we have to have discipline.
Yes, we need discipline.
Discipline is the
feel like we're first, but once they start making that money, they have our struggles anymore.
Yeah, they don't have. Okay,
they don't have our struggles anymore. Yes.
Let me just say this: their time is very limited. They have shelf life.
Yeah,
and I have a couple of folks in my family who are quote unquote, NFL and NBA, and they have rings. One of them has 3, Miami, and the other one, Houston Texans. The interesting part is it's about the discipline. You being able to just do whatever you want, whatever is all the women and doing and having here and there and everywhere. Now you have locked yourself in. You've locked yourself in. Here's the interesting part. Anything happen to your elbow, your finger, your nose, your anything, you're a done deal. Okay? Stick a fork in you. You're done.
Stick a fork. Yes, ma'am.
And that's just that. And they're going to get rid of you.
Yep.
And then what's going to happen? You are going to have to go back home wherever you came from because financially you didn't do the right things. You see, and we have to have, our black, when they get in those situations of NBA, NFL, whatever the case may be, their PR people, all of the people that are around them now are white. Absolutely unequivocally unacceptable.
Financial literacy go a long way, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Okay. And the thing is, just because they're white, that doesn't mean that they know everything about everything. That is not the case. I've known some white folks that didn't know a daggone thing, and I've known some black folks that were highly intelligent and knew how and what to do and what to invest in, and on and on and on. Real basic. No, these are just basic. Listen, Ed Bradley, 60 Minutes, the brother.
Mm-hmm.
When he passed away, before he passed away, he in Mount Airy, Derek, he had a whole block,
Mm-hmm.
okay, of houses.
I love Ed Bradley. I'm changing the baby diaper, you guys. So I love Ed Bradley. Oh my goodness. I love him.
He had
Ed
a whole,
Bradley way off City Avenue.
he had his real estate. He had some backup. Oh, he had some other things. Now, don't get it twisted, because I knew the executive of his estate. I know the lady. However, he had a whole block. He invested. He was invested in Cheney University like no other. You see, and he invested, all everything.
Okay. That's what it's about. It's
Right.
it's investing,
Bro,
sacrifice, discipline, long-term vision, all that. Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you having 7, 8, 9, 10. That's not cute. It is nothing cute about it.
Yeah.
Not at all. It doesn't say anything about your manhood except for you are undisciplined and you are and you can't handle, and you don't have the discipline to say no.
Well, like I said a moment ago, I don't know where I got that from, but I saw long term. Because like I said, again, I was going to be in the band. And in the South,
that's right.
Being in the band is akin to being on the basketball team up here.
Better.
I know I would have had a couple of children. So I decided, I don't know where I got that foresight from, but I decided to take the road less travel. And I know, looking back on it now, best decision I made, because a lot of us coming from nothing and you get into that type of life, it will make girls love you. You getting sex for nothing, easy. Right. And so I decided not to do that best, but you have to have that foresight. And so I don't know if it was. I don't know. But I'm glad I went the military route and got beat that way. And I know I'm a better man today for it. So so that's all I got. Ms. Lynch, if it's any other stuff you want to say, I'll drop down and put the link in for people if you want me to do that.
Okay, thank you, Derek.
Yes, thank you, Derek. Of course, it's a pleasure. And of course, just
we always come. Me and Derek got our show every Monday night, so we always coming up with a new topic. If you got something for us, TT, we'll discuss. You're more than welcome to send us something.
I'm excited and I'm very happy that you all did this, and you all you're doing it. So I'd love to hear others. So I'm gonna definitely drop down. I'll be here on Mondays, to support you and things of that nature.
Okay.
Tell Lisa, Andrea, I just want to say you are. Let me tell y'all. This is for the record. This is for documentation purposes. This is for your legacy. Just Andrea is the talk of the town down there at North Carolina A&T.
I'm lying.
I'm not lying. My sisters, we had they talk so much. Derek, they talk so much. They was trying to fight the people in the restaurant because Derek, I'm not good. I had to tell them, calm the ham sandwich down.
Derek, I was like, this service is bad. This service is bad. Okay.
And now, just for GP, Just Andrea was much better than ever, because we all know how Just Andrea can get. It was my friend. It was Sarita. It was Lisa. They all were disgraceful. Okay, and they were very, very aggressive. I was trying to be the one that kept the reason. Why are they going? Where they come? It was just, I was like, oh, here we go, damn it.
Derek, I was trying to be nice, Derek. I said, oh, this that bullshit. Okay. I wanted to say, oh, this that
But
really
she's very
bullshit.
passionate. Yeah. Bless her heart. She's very, she's very passionate. So yeah, I
Almost
kind of can see that.
definitely.
Yeah.
So,
But to Derek, I was like, and then she said, oh, it's cold out here. I said, it's cold out here. I said, it's really cold out here. I want to go home.
Lord have mercy. It was, you know.
She's like, Derek, she's like, it ain't cold out here, Andrea. I said, girl, where? Y'all live in Philadelphia, live in California. It ain't cold, okay? She said, what do you
she was cold.
I was cold.
Yeah. Well, bless her heart, man. Yeah. See, just passionate. I'll leave it at that. She's just passionate.
Just passionate. Yeah. Next time. November the 4th. I just want to let you know. Anyway.
Okay.
All right now. Thank you. You guys have a good one.
Thank you guys for coming up. I really appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Next week, Derek, me and you again. Me and you. It's just me and you.
Yeah, me and you and I, yeah. And like I said, a programming note. We just like to get our thoughts out, and then we'll drop the link, because a lot of times we've just discovered that when the guests come up real early, we cut like the points we may wanted to make. We'll, obviously you want to answer questions from the guests and stuff like that, and you may lose where you lose your place. So that's the reason why we put the link after we do our initial talk. So that's all that is. Nothing, So that's pretty much all I got, Ms. Lynch. Salute to Ms. Winfrey. Thank you for allowing me to speak unfiltered on your platform, and I'll see you around YouTube. All right.
Okay, I'll see you next Monday. Bye-bye. Y'all have a nice weekend.
All right.
Well, you guys will see me and Derek next week. I appreciate everybody coming in. My grandpa, hey, Vic, what's up? Next Monday we'll be it again. So I appreciate everybody. I thank everybody for coming in. I thank everybody for giving their say. And I'll be back next week. And Andre and Derek. And I'll see y'all later. And I'm gonna play this theme song because I love. Shout out to Nicole Reloaded. And Nicole Reloaded did my intro. Shout out to her. I love it. It captured my family, and I just love it. So thank you for that.
Love in the ocean, but if you wanna go insane, either way, baby, we could go all night. We could do it all night. We could go all night, all night. Do we heal, do we bleed? I'ma follow your lead. We could go all night.
I've been calm, cool, collected, but you pushing on my nerves, and knowing your attention, I'm under pressure. Okay, I'm admitting that a couple things I said got acidic in the tone, in the presence I get careless. Long as you know I come with imperfections. When you look at me, you see the soul through my flesh. You something special. Know you looking bomb, the way you dress it, gone flex it, hold it still and let my mind digest. You got the leverage, you got the upper handle on the situation. You worthy of a million more of the storms that we weathered. We fight, retreating, then fuck, but you trying to kill the cycle. When nobody's stressing that body like me, I know the way you like it. I treat you like a queen, run the castle.
We could do it all night. We could go all night.
Bye-bye. Y'all take care, okay?